You are lucky Chief is interested in you. If I were you, I would grab this opportunity tight. Do you know how many ladies are praying for Chief to so much as wink at them? I wish he would look my way, Susan said to her friend Adaku. Chief is old enough to be my father, and he has other wives, Adaku said. Age is not a barrier. The most important thing is for you to be taken care of the way you deserve. My dear, you won't be the first, neither will you be the last, to be with someone much older than them. Money is the main thing, Susan replied reassuringly. I can't just leave my kids, and Peter has been so good to me. He is really trying his best to provide and take good care of us. Well, his best is not enough. You said so yourself. Chief is a spender. Confirm Odogu with doings. Imagine being able to travel to other countries as easily as stepping into your own backyard. Having designer shoes and bags. Wearing original hair. Having the latest phone. My friend, you deserve a soft life. Your life is wasting before your very eyes. Wise up, oh, Susan said, letting her eyes wander across the entire apartment. They were at Adaku's place, a moderately furnished apartment. It didn't scream luxury, but it was a comfortable place with its mismatched cushions. They just talked about other things for a long time before Susan finally left. Adaku pondered on everything that her friend said. Mr. Desmond, who was also known as Chief, was a very wealthy man, with business scattered all over the country. He was a well-known man. She met Chief over a year ago at an exclusive event that she followed Susan to. Chief casually gifted her a huge sum of money for just being beautiful. Peter, her husband, thought the hair she bought was really with the stipend he gave her. Chief must really like her to still want her after all this while. She felt lucky and beautiful. She looked at her phone that had been malfunctioning and sighed heavily. It's been 3 months since Peter promised to get her another one. She stood before a mirror, appreciating herself. She was indeed a beauty to behold. Even as a mother of 2, you could easily mistake her for a maiden, her youthful glow untouched. It's true she married Peter out of love, but she needs to be taken care of the way she deserves. She deserves the best skincare in the world. She deserves to use designers. She deserves luxury. And Chief is her only ticket to it. She's way too pretty for Peter to maintain. Susan once mentioned that Chief would contest for a political position soon. Imagine being Chief's first lady. Thank God she's educated, she thought. She's a diamond in the rough and only Chief is in the position to make her shine. She became impossible both as a wife and as a mother. She nagged at every given opportunity, complaining about everything. She complained about the apartment, about the cushions, about the kitchen, about every single thing not being to her taste. She made incessant demands. Peter always dreaded coming home. One day, Peter came back after a long stressful day at work to meet their kids crying uncontrollably, with his wife watching the television seemingly unbothered. "What is wrong with them?" he asked, trying so hard to control his temper. "They are hungry," Adaku replied carelessly. "I remember giving you money for food in the morning. What did you use it for?" Peter angrily asked. "And I also remember telling you that I needed money to fix my hair and nails," Adaku replied nonchalantly. "So fixing your hair and nails is more important than feeding your own kids." Peter was livid. "They are also your kids. If I can't take care of them, you can take care of them." "I'm too young to start looking haggard," Adaku retorted. Peter took his keys out and they ate outside. Adaku's attitude became worse by the day. She wouldn't cook, nor clean, nor wash. She completely neglected her kids. Even when the youngest was crying, she would play deaf ears. Peter was playing both the role of a father and a mother to their two kids, who were 4 and 2 respectively. Adaku's mother tried advising her, but she wouldn't listen. She became a terror to both her husband and kids. "I need 200,000. I want to get a dress and other accessories for Susan's birthday party," Adaku told her husband one morning as he was about to leave for work. 200,000 for a dress? Peter screamed. "You know very well that I can't afford that," Peter said, still bewildered. "You want to scream down the roof because of just 200,000. Real men spend much more than that without a single fuss. You want me to be different from the rest of the ladies. It's as clear as day that you cannot take care of me. I am tired of managing with you," Adaku said and angrily left for her room. Peter was left speechless and broken. His wife was a very loving wife before she met Susan, whose sort of flamboyant lifestyle one couldn't tell, and everything started changing with her. She began measuring herself with Susan. Prior to meeting Susan, she was supportive and never complained. But after meeting her, she began complaining about everything. He had told her on several occasions to stay away from Susan, but she wouldn't listen. Adaku knew his financial status before agreeing to marry him, and he was trying his best and still looking out for better opportunities. He wondered for how long he could keep up with Adaku's attitude. It was beginning to take a toll on him. Even at his place of work, he lacked concentration. He loved his wife and honestly wished she would change into the once loving wife and mother she was. At work that day, he felt uneasy and took permission to leave. He got home and met his kids sleeping, but Adaku was nowhere to be found. So he went to their room to discover that she had packed all her belongings. It dawned on him that Adaku had left and had abandoned him and their tender kids. He sobbed bitterly. He tried reaching Adaku but couldn't. Even Susan claimed she had no idea where she was. Her parents too couldn't reach her. After months of trying to reach her without results, Peter stopped trying and moved on with his life. It was not easy for him, but he had to for the sake of his kids. Meanwhile, Adaku went to be with Chief in another state. Chief rented a well-furnished apartment for her. He showered her with expensive gifts. She had the designer wares her heart had always longed for. She was swimming in luxury. She always accompanied Chief to events of the high and mighty in the society. She was living the baby girl's lifestyle. She felt valued and beautiful. She was happy she finally listened to Susan. She was also glad that she didn't let her kids and husband stand in her way to luxury. "This is how life is meant to be," she exclaimed happily to herself. She just got back from shopping with Chief. She had everything she had ever wanted, but something still bothered her. "My friend, see the way you are glowing. You are now leaving your name, daughter of wealth. Luxury looks good on you. I'm happy you made a wise choice," Susan said to her. She came to visit because they had not seen each other for a very long time. "I'm glad I made this decision, and thank you for opening my eyes to see what I couldn't see in the beginning. Who doesn't like good things?" Adaku said, beaming with smile. "How are my kids and Peter? Have you seen them lately?" she asked Susan. "I have not seen them since you left, but Peter can handle everything." "Adaku, relax and enjoy. Men do this all the time. Enjoy your life," Susan replied reassuringly. She noticed Adaku's mood changed. "Ada, what is the matter?" she asked. "Something has been bothering me lately," Adaku replied. "Is it about Chief?" "Tell me whatever it is," concerned Susan said. "Chief spends lavishly on me. He makes sure I lack nothing. But what bothers me is that he hardly gives me enough money of my own. What he gives me, Even Peter cannot give such a small amount of money. He claims he provides everything I need and more, and as such I do not need money. He is here to take me on any trip across the country. He is here to even marry me officially. And this is getting to 4 years. I'm beginning to think he's just using me for the fun of it. Adaku finished in near tears. Susan stood up and placed her hands on her shoulder out of concern. No good thing comes easy. You should know that. Chief is a busy man, especially as the election is around the corner. Maybe he is testing your loyalty. Just be patient. Everything will fall in place, Susan said in a soothing voice. Chief kept buying her expensive things, but still did not give her enough money. One day, Chief told her that she would be moving into his family house to get to know the rest of the family, as he would be seeing her family soon. It gave her a beacon of hope that Chief was finally going to marry her. He introduced her to the members of his family as soon-to-be wife. The mockery behind their polite welcome was as clear as the sun, and she wondered why. Maybe they were jealous of her, she thought. But one thing was clear. Chief had a penchant for beautiful women. All of his wives were beautiful and graceful. His first wife, who was older, was an embodiment of elegance. Her beauty was timeless. She felt intimidated as she was expecting to see unrefined and ugly wives, but she was comforted by the fact that she was the youngest and Chief's favorite. She was shown a not-so-furnished room as her own. She couldn't complain because Chief had already left. She settled in, disappointed. Chief's visits became less and less frequent, with excuses that he was too busy, especially with the election around the corner. To make matters worse, the gifts stopped coming. Chief no longer took her out. She was always at home, and the other wives were not friendly to her. She tried many times to be friends with them, but she was snubbed. She tried reaching Susan severally but could not. She felt alone. Her days in Chief's house became so lonely and sad. One afternoon, she was in the room pondering over the choices she had made when a knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. It was one of the servants who came to inform her that Chief had summoned everyone to the central room. Everyone was summoned only if there was a special announcement to be made. She wondered what announcement Chief wanted to make. Maybe he wants to announce the day him and his family would meet her own family. It gave her a ray of hope. She wore her best dress, touched her face a little, and left. Everyone was already there. Wait a minute. Chief was with a lady. She was breathtakingly beautiful, the type that made one speechless. She was a perfect blend of elegance and sophistication, and she was much younger. Adaku managed to sit. A numbness sprayed down her spine, knocking the breath from her chest. Everyone, welcome the newest member of the family, my new wife, Mirabel, my Omalecha. Chief sang his new wife's praises, disrupting Adako's line of thoughts. Adako stared, stunned in silence. Her face was drained of every color, leaving only the stark echo of what she had just heard. She has been used and dumped. She flinched as a hand brushed against her shoulder, sending a shiver down her spine. She turned. It was Ma Ugomma, Chief's first wife. The room was empty except for her and Ma Ugomma. She was so engrossed in her thoughts that she didn't know when Chief finished addressing everyone and when everyone left. You thought he would marry you. You are not special. Too bad you left your marriage for him. You young ladies will never learn. Maugoma said with a smirk and left. Adaku shamefully left for her room. She cried herself to sleep. The next morning, a loud bang woke her up. It was one of the servants. With her was Ma Ugoma. Prepare and follow the servant to the market to buy foodstuff. You can't just be eating without contributing to anything. Hurry up, she said in a commanding and condescending tone. She was now a common maid. The thought terrified her. She hurried up and left with a servant. They spent the whole day buying things for the whole household. It was almost sunset when they came back. Adaku was so exhausted that she slept off almost immediately when her body touched the mattress. The weeks that followed fell into the same pattern. She would wake up to join the servants in the day's activities. It was now obvious that she was one of them. They treated her worse than a slave. They left the hardest part of any work for her. She would wash, clean, and cook all day. She always cried herself to sleep, thinking of how badly she treated her husband and her kids. She repeatedly sought an audience with Chief, but all her efforts were in vain. Luck eventually smiled on her when one afternoon she saw Chief, who had already entered his car with Mirabel, his new wife. She blocked his car. Chief had to finally give her the audience she so desperately sought. "Chief, what did I do wrong to warrant this level of inhuman treatment meted on me?" she asked, tears running down her face. "I'm now treated worse than a slave," she sobbed. "You did nothing, my dear. I simply had no use for you again," Chief replied with a mocking smile tugging at his lips. "I left my marriage because of you. You promised to marry me. You promised to take me round the world." Adako cried bitterly, her sobs raking her chest. "That was your choice, not mine. I was already losing interest in you, if not for Susan, your friend. She needed money and you were her means to get it," Chief said coldly. Adaku froze, her mind reeling as she tried to grasp what he was saying. "You are not a prisoner. Go whenever you want." He hissed the word through clenched teeth and drove off with Mirabel. She decided to go visit Susan. She met Susan, who gave her a very cold welcome. "Susan, Chief said I was your means to having money. What does that mean?" Adako asked in a voice tight with anger. "Took you long enough to ask." Susan appeared unfazed by her outburst. "Well, I saw an opportunity and grabbed it," she said. "How?" Adako asked, her confusion evident. "How, you ask? You were always complaining of Peter not providing for you the way you wanted, of not living luxuriously, of not having designers. I was already getting fed up with your complaints. Luckily for me, Chief saw you and loved you, or rather, lusted after you." Susan looked at Adako's pale face and continued regardless. "He promised me a huge amount of money if I could get you to accept his proposal. And at that time, I was flat broke. You took long enough to accept though. It wasn't easy getting him to keep to the end of his bargain because he was already losing interest in you. I thought you were my friend. I lost my husband and kids because of you," Adaku said angrily through clenched teeth. "Because of your greed," Susan interjected sharply. "You have no one to blame but yourself. You were not content with your beautiful family and the good man God gave you. I never forced you to do anything you weren't already interested in doing. You got what you wanted. Go home to your designers." Susan finished, her voice rising with anger. Adaku was so lost in her thoughts that she didn't realize when she reached home. Her stay at Chief's place grew worse than it had ever been. It was clear to everyone that Chief was done with her in the most undignified manner. She was treated with utmost disdain from everyone, especially the servants. One fateful day, she ran into the servants gossiping about her. "I heard she left her husband and her kids to be with Chief," one said. "She is the only one who left a marriage to be with Chief. It's unfortunate that things didn't go the way she planned. We have more respect and pride than her in this house." The other said. Even after she made her presence known, they continued, their words dripping with disdain. She entered her room, tears streaming down her face. Susan was right. She had no one but herself to blame for her mistakes. She abandoned her husband, who was nothing but good to her. She abandoned her kids, her tender kids. Will they ever forgive her? She wished she had listened to her mother's advice. She wished she listened to her husband when he told her to stay away from Susan. She regretted not heeding to their advice. In all these years, she had neither spoken to Peter nor asked after him and her kids. She wept bitterly, her body shaking with grief. She deserves everything that was happening to her. She ruined her life by herself. She made up her mind to go back to Peter. At least she was still the mother of his kids. Peter loved her deeply. He wouldn't throw her out. She packed her luggage with trembling hands, tears blurring her vision. She didn't see anyone when she was leaving, but she could hear their mocking giggles. She left in shame, each step heavier than the last. She knocked at the door that once used to be her home. An elderly woman stepped out and informed her that she was the new occupant of the house and knew no one by the name of Mr. Peter. She felt lost and ashamed at the fact that she did not know where her family was. She was thinking of who to call when she remembered Mezier, Peter's friend. She went to his place only to be greeted by an angry face. Mezier informed her that Peter had remarried and had relocated abroad with his family. He slammed the door in her face. Adaku wished the ground would open up beneath her feet and swallow her entire being. Peter and her kids abroad, with a new wife. She would have been there with them. What was she expecting after abandoning them for years? She wept regrettably, her shoulders shaking with the weight of mistakes she could no longer make right.